Is she right? Yes, she thinks she is. She takes a bit of persuading, but she's very honest and thinks that's the right thing to do, really, for the good of Rome.
Yeah, I guess Rome was founded as a republic after they got rid of the kings hundreds of years ago in the history that Shakespeare was writing from. They got rid of the kings ages ago. I think it was certainly meant to be one of Brutus's ancestors originally. It's this kind of echo thing who got rid of the last king of Rome, and then Rome was run as by the senators and was no longer ruled by one person. They always made sure they had two consuls. So suddenly, what's happened is Caesar has got all this power on his own, and I think Brutus
he's just turned into a dictator.
Yeah,
and that's just not right, really. So for the good of everyone, I think she is persuaded, that's going to be a good idea.
I think from Mark Antony's point of view, though,
oh, do tell me.
Not good. No, doesn't really agree with what Brutus does, and because if you, look at it on the surface, Caesar's the rightful ruler of Rome, certainly at this point, because he's defeated Pompey in the civil war. Rome maybe needs stability at this time, and also Brutus is like one of Caesar's really, really close friends. And someone...
Which is why it's hard. It's not, let's go and do it. Great, what a great idea, is it?
No, but that's true. Brutus doesn't skip in singing.
No, he doesn't kind of jump in going, yeah, great, brilliant, let's all gung-ho and so on. It takes a fair bit of persuading and ruminating and lots of long words like that. Yeah, I guess it was such a big deal getting to that point, and actually in reality it happens really, really quickly, doesn't it?
I think kind of political forces have been unleashed that you think you can control. I think when Brutus kills Caesar, I think maybe not, but I think that thinks that Rome will revert back to how it was and the senators will have the power again. But Caesar has spent all this time giving the power to the actual people, or maybe not giving power to the people, but certainly policies that the people want, like giving them land and giving them money and all this kind of thing. And you kind of expect, we get rid of Caesar, it'll all be kind of okay. And actually, there's a groundswell of once Mark Antony gets involved and talks to the Roman population. There's stuff in there that they do still want, and they still want to have that kind of
Brutus really underestimates what the people wanted, actually. Yeah. It's as if he's got a little bit distance from what the people need and what they want. I think he gives the people a bit too much credit, and he thinks that he's decided the way it's going to go. He doesn't really... realised that actually they quite liked a lot of things that Caesar was doing, but they also didn't know that, he was going to potentially keep them all down either. That's a lot of hearsay, isn't it? And a lot of conjecture as to how great it was going to be with Caesar. People didn't really know. It's like politics, isn't it? It's people know a certain amount, they don't know everything else, and people are making decisions based on some information. Not all of it. You can paint a picture all sorts of different ways.
I think certainly his friendship with Caesar isn't. I don't think it's politically motivated. Well, certainly not at the start. Caesar is very much a father figure to Antony. Again, in the history, and again, we have to be careful, I guess, of like the actual history that we have that Caesar wrote from, and then our play, and those things can be very different. But Antony, is a kind of bit of a dissolute youth, and then Caesar takes him under his wing, and he fights on Caesar's side during the civil war. Antony has also lost two father figures. He's lost his father and his stepfather in fairly recent past, and then Caesar takes that place, I think. So I think his love for Caesar is genuine and real, and I think that's why you get the reaction you do. I think later on he becomes more politically motivated in the play. I think initially he's not. He's motivated by grief and sadness because his friends died. Yeah. And then later on he sees, maybe unbeknownst to him, the power he would have and the power of those population. I think he sees an opportunity. And then he goes, oh, I can get more power for myself, and that's the war starts to be motivated by that. If you wanted the good of Rome, it would be like, hey, Brutus, okay, let's sit down, what can we do, what's best for Rome?
There's an interesting relationship with these two as well, I guess, in that, you know, Antony likes to go out and have a party and keep late hours and generally mess about the place in a fairly drunken stupor.
Yeah.
And it feels, I think, to Brutus as if he doesn't really take it all terribly seriously.
Yeah.
I think that sort of irks me a little bit about you, that you just don't seem to do that. Maybe there's, you know, a tiny bit of jealousy with the love for Caesar as well, you know, in that.
Yeah.
You know.
And it feels like Antony's very much underestimated by Brutus in that respect because of all that stuff, because what you've seen from him. And he doesn't take his role as a statesman or anything very seriously. Doesn't seem to. And I think that Caesar, that what happens to Caesar, that grief sort of makes him into that, kind of ironically, I guess, makes him into that person that Brutus wished he could have been, that kind of person who can speak to the population and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it would be interesting actually to sort of have a chat after all the events. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't think Brutus would have realised that of you. I don't think he saw any of this in you. I don't. No. So I think that's why the end of Act 1, when he lets him go and make his speech second, not the best plan. But I think he doesn't imagine he's going to come out with any of that, and trust you really to not do that, which, you know, hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? Oh, quite reasoned, lots of sound judgments. He's very good at putting his point across, but in a thinking he'll be able to make everyone understand why that had to happen.
It's amazingly dispassionate, Brutus's speech, isn't it? It's fantastically logical, like it's watertight.
Yeah,
the logic of it is absolutely watertight. So you can see him going, well, these are the reasons, and there's no way you can argue with that. And he forgets that thing that politicians can, like, and amazing public speakers can tap into, which is like beyond what the actual words are, and like something within you where you don't really know what's going on. And also there's the like boring actor thing alert, but there's the thing of your
don't do that.
No,
don't
don't
boring
do that.
now.
Boring. I'm sorry.
No, awkward.
No, but yours is in prose and mine is in verse. And if you ask someone why those two speeches, why is Antony's better than Brutus's, they'll be like, well, the rhythms of it and the way it sounds, and it really gets you going. And the reason for that is simply the way, you know, the Shakespeare did that on purpose, put those two speeches, wrote them in different ways, because Antony's has proper poetry, which kind of poetry like communicates beyond words. It's those things. It's very exciting. You know, it's a fantastic part, and Brutus is also good. Also an awesome.
Thank you so much.
No worries.
I might pat you on the head if you do that.
Please do. But no, it is really exciting, and also I guess there's also that thing of, because they're so famous, there are loads of like preconceptions about what those characters are going to be like, and they both have really famous speeches that people are going to be like, oh, I wonder how they're going to do that. So it's kind of, I guess it's that's the daunting bit, and that's the bit you kind of have to.
See, I wasn't worried, but now I am.
Now you are, yeah.
See,
well,
look, that's not helpful, is it?
I can do that to people. I'll chat to you before opening night and give you a pep talk.
No, I don't think you should. Stay away from me.
So you have to put those to one side and kind of just get the script as if it's like a new script, and that you haven't heard Friends, Romans, Countrymen a million times before said by someone else, and try and work out why you're saying it and all that kind of stuff. So for that reason it's daunting, but it's exciting too.
It's great fun though, isn't it?
Yeah.